Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Although I haven't uploaded in like 2 months or so, this is like a considered a channel update. So there you go. This is a channel update. I guess I'll get right into it in a sense. Like, okay, so where have I been? Like, I've been uploading for over like every day for over a year. Then I suddenly disappear and don't upload for like 2 months, and it's like, yeah, okay. I mean, admittedly, what I was uploading, not the best stuff anyway. Doesn't matter. Like, well, actually, kind of does. That's something I can get into. But anyway, not the point. Right, so, well, first of all, I mean, yeah, I'm fine. Physically I'm fine. Mentally not so much, but we'll ignore that, right? Um, I mean, yeah, last few months, right? So, I took a break for like a hiatus, right? Because, a couple of reasons, right? Well, first of all, I wasn't really enjoying myself. Like, I really just, it was tiresome. Second of all, my dog was dying, so I had to kind of I took more time out because of that after the fact, like, as it was like a couple of weeks ago. You know, um, my dog was euthanized in the middle of November. So yeah, it's kind of just like from time after that, there's a grieving period and all that, and November's also mid-November's also particularly tough because that's also like mid-November was also like the 3rd year anniversary of my dad passing as well. So it's kind of like, yeah, November's not necessarily a happy month for me, to deal with, But regardless, right? We'll move on from that topic. But yeah. So I took some time out because I wasn't really enjoying myself. Like, my mental state wasn't really that great after like the whole fact. Then so like then my scheduling was like kind of bad. Uh, I got into some bad habits in the same time. Like at the same time, it's like I was spending a lot of days like not doing anything productive whatsoever. Um, yeah, but hopefully I've curtailed them now, and like I'm actually back to being myself. I can hope. Well, yeah, I'm back to being like straight up, maybe even better than before. That's ultimately the goal. Obviously, we want to build ourselves to be like the best people possible. So I'm no different. Like, I mean, I should imagine you want to be the best possible you possible. I want to be the best possible me possible. So yeah, hopefully I can come back stronger and well, yeah, basically just not let myself get beaten down by things. I was thinking about scripting this video, but I obviously didn't because, well, it's kind of just one of those things where I think I just have to talk and go, and that's it. But so yeah, so I'm fine apart from some other things in my life that I've dealt with or dealing with, but that's none of the viewers' concern. Like you don't have to be concerned about that. It's maybe just like for me right now. I mean, yeah, I might have friends or family watching this, but most of the views going to be from people who are they don't know me, all right? So that's that, right? Now, I reckon probably if people were watching my content before, like I did, um, yeah, like I was doing like Ark, I was doing Planet Craft, or I was doing like TCG Card Shop Simulator. I was doing like a bunch of games. Like I was doing like 7 games. That was another big factor as well. That kind of screwed me. Like I made plans for something, and I kind of collapsed on them, if you know what I mean. Like basically, like, my thing was, I was like, right, okay, I'm doing a lot of play for like. I suppose I should start from the beginning, right? Basically, like this is what I mean about my content not being good, and this is kind of like what I want to improve going forward as well, right? That's kind of like just something that I should do. I should be making the best content possible. Like no one's like so, and like yeah, that's why I'm gonna get into it. So basically, of course, like first I have the Dave the Diver guides. That was always going to be that was an uncanny amount of success there. It's disproportionate to everything else I've already done. It's just boom, it's just there, right? That just seems to be like what I jumped into that game early enough, after playing early access, I jumped into it early enough of making videos and making guides for it that I became more synonymous with the guide aspect of Dave the Diver when people were looking up stuff for Dave the Diver. Since like Dave the Diver was a new game that was fully released in full release, they would be able to find my stuff, and that's kind of like where things were at. That's why my Dave the Diver content has quite a lot of views, and like, but the thing about it is like, even then, some of the guides I'm kind of unhappy with, like the money making guides, like and a bunch of the other stuff like Fish Farm. I really want to do what I really want to do with them is I want to remake guides, like even if they're not going to get like half as many or even like a tenth as many of views as all the other ones from Dave the Diver, right? Because most people probably move on from the game, right? But I want to make actual better guides for it because like the ones I have are kind of all right, but like I did a playthrough of it, and obviously, as you know, like if you watch my second Dave the Diver playthrough, like a lot of people would have watched that if they were interested in Dave the Diver, and you can see that I go absolutely max out on efficiency, like just like efficiency, 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 right? And in that time is when I realized, like, yeah, okay, a lot of the stuff I was saying on my money making guide videos doesn't really apply to a player who's just trying to get through the story, right? Like, if they're trying to get through the story, the main objective is maybe do a few side quests and all that stuff. Yeah, like the guides don't really help them. It's like, oh yeah, have this really high level end game dish, and it's like, yeah, okay, buddy, you're not helping. But like, okay, but like that's the point. Like, so basically, I want to remake. I mean, I did try to remake guides. Like, I actually did make better like money making guides after that, but this never caught on. That's the thing, right? Like, everyone always goes to the early one, right? Whereas, so that's kind of why I want to make this later one now. But that's and again, like fish farm, I can make a better fish farm video now than I could in the past, sort of thing. Like, it's sort of like, so in a way, I kind of want to remaster a bunch of my Dave the Diver guides, if that makes sense. Now, I mean, yeah, it kind of sounds a bit weird. Like, okay, you're remastering it, but the information will change, and it will actually be more helpful to actually players who want the information, right? So it's like that's kind of like my angle on that, like where I'm like, okay, yeah, they were popular enough anyway. It's like something that people did like, but like people have pointed out like, you're kind of getting some things wrong, and it's like yeah, and over time I learned more. Like, I have over 400 hours in Dave the Diver. Like, that's way more than anyone really should have, like, being honest. So, yeah, I could probably do that. That's going to be like one of the things that I want to put out on the channel going forward, right? But that's the thing, right? Now, going forward, right? Okay, so after the Dave the Diver guides, I kind of like, just got into playthrough content because realistically, there's only so many games you're good at without having playing new games, if you know what I mean. Like, if you're playing new games, like, you can kind of get good at them and like all that stuff, right? But if you only like, if I was like, right, I made Dave the Diver guides, I'm going to make Payday 2 guides because I played a lot of Payday 2. If I'm going to make it, it's like, there's only so many games you can make guides for before you're like, okay, right, let's go make a guide for a game I've never played before. Like, it's not going to work, right? So I switched to playthrough content because like there was nothing really I could make a guide out of, already felt like I could make a guide out of, or like, that wasn't already guides out there for, like, So it's like, well, I mean, yeah, I get the guide content is better. Like, I really hate how my mustache looks on this side. Like, I really want to get, like, straightened out, like... But why am I so vain, like, and narcissistic looking at myself like this? Like, I'm just looking at my webcam, so I'm like, yeah, man, like, I'm trying to, like, improve my appearance. And it's like, okay, maybe, not the point, right? Point being, right? It's like, yeah, I should stop fiddling that on camera, right? But, not the point, right? Yeah, what was it? Right, so yeah, I did playthrough content, right? Sorry, I'm getting a bit rambly here, but, sorry, mate, my blow nose is itchy. Like, this is really awful. Right, hang on. Respite. Respite over. Right, okay, cool. Right, what I was saying, right? So I went to playthrough content, right? But the thing about playthrough content is, you see it 1,000 times, right? Like, you could, I mean, it's not that easy, like, to find it, but, like, if you really wanted to, you could probably go on YouTube and find, like, say, hundreds of different people playing through Nier Automata, or Nier Automata with like less than 100 views each on like any of their none of the videos reach that, right? And it's like, again, like, you have like stuff like that, less popular games, like, my Ark Survival Ascended playthrough, like, no one really watches me play single player on that, right? But like, again, like, I have like the one that was made on like a 21st of October has 2 views to date. It's been 2 months, so like, it's like, yeah, you can make tons and tons of playthrough content, but the thing about it is, unless you're already known for something, you're not going to get watched on them, because like, who really cares to watch? Like, I mean, yeah, there's some people that do, and I appreciate them, but it's like, it's not like something that has like, I mean, yeah, there is a certain appeal to playthroughs. I watch playthroughs on YouTube. Like, I'm watching a Yakuza Zero playthrough right now. I mean, and it made me want to get Yakuza Zero, which, I mean, the thing about it is, like, yeah, right, what, like, see, that's the thing. It's like, so I say, like, oh yeah, I want to play Yakuza on channel, right? But the thing about playing Yakuza on channel is, like, across, like, the, what, 7 games that I have, and, like, maybe if I got Like a Dragon or Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth after that, like, what, like, there's 9, 10 Yakuza games that I'm going to be playing, right? And it's like, and what, if each of them are like 80 hours each to, like, get a good amount of completion, it's like, yeah, do I really want to spend 800 hours of playthrough on, like, Yakuza on my channel? That's probably not the best move, right? Like, if I was like, it's like the thing about it is, like, the playthrough I'm watching right now is a guy called Professional, the Professional. Now, he did like a bunch of GTA Online guides for when GTA Online was popular. Like, I mean, it still is relatively popular, but, he made a bunch of guides on it. And that's why he transitioned to playthrough content, because obviously there's only so much you can do on GTA Online. And yeah, so obviously, since he played a lot of crime games, obviously it makes sense for a natural progression to go through to Yakuza. I mean, yeah. Whereas if I was like, I'm liking the look of the game, if I put that on my channel, like I did like my own playthrough, it's like, yeah, I'm not going to get as much, like, views, for example, like, because it's like, I'm not established. I don't have the insight that he would have, because, a lot of people who go for stuff like that, because the reason he plays crime games is because he knows a lot about law enforcement. So obviously, like, he has a lot more extra stuff he could say along the way, sort of thing, that's actually interesting. Whereas, like, I'm kind of just a dude in the street, as it were. Like, I'm not. I mean, I say I have my talents, I have my things that I'm good at, I have, like, things that I know, but it's like I'm not really. I don't think I'd say I'm specialized in anything. Like, that's not really like my thing. But regardless, that's a side tangent about, like, no, I didn't even know them, so it's not even like it's just like I watch on YouTube. But point being is, like, you can get good. Well, my point being was basically, yeah, you can get good playthrough content going. Like, you can get content that is like playthroughs and gets viewed. But the thing is, like, to do so, you kind of need, like, a bit more. You need a bit more of an established, like, thing of people already watching you to, like, see your playthroughs, because, like, there's tons of playthroughs, like, where I, like, where I offered, like, say, for example, the card shop simulator. When I was doing that, there was tons of other people that were already way more popular doing that. So it's like, why would someone come to my stream over, like, their stream, sort of thing? Like, I mean, maybe, like, people like the smaller chat, but, like, basically, like, on Twitch, I got, like, 0 views across, like, any of the days I was streaming, basically. Apart from the people ditch up, and my spots were like some sort of bot scammers or whatever, right? And it's like, well, yeah, that stuff just kind of happens. Just like, so. But I'm going on a tangent. Right? My main point here, right, is that the playthrough content is pretty dead in terms of, like, well, I mean, as much as I enjoy just playing games in general, it's like, it's kind of a weird one, right? Which is because, like, and that's kind of what gets into, like, why I transitioned into streaming, right? And why that fell apart, right? So basically, like, when I was doing playthrough content, right, I'd be like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna have my videos be like half-hour maximum, right? Then you get to a part of a game, and it's like, okay, right, and it goes a bit longer. You get to 45 minutes. You're like, okay, well, that was quite an intense part. A lot happened. I'll just throw it all in at 45 minutes, right? But it just it kept piling up like that. Where it's like, sort of like, you feel like, okay, if I want to make this part like half hour, 45 minutes, like half hour, 45 minutes, right? I'm going to be playing this game like half hour every other day, and it's like, maybe I could just record a bunch back to back. But it's like, but the thing about it is, like, you're only playing it so much, and then, like, if you did, like, do that, then you have, like, what? Say if you played like 20 hours a game, like, you have like 40 parts to it then, if you're doing them in half hours, and it's like, yeah, maybe you edit a bunch out at that point, like I edit a bunch out at that point, like, maybe. But the point being is, at that point, it's still like, you're playing so much, or you're playing so little compared to how much, like the complete experience, like, it kind of just screws the experience and flow of, like, actually playing the game itself anyway. So it's kind of like, okay, I didn't want to do that where I'm, like, just making, like, tons of these parts that just have a backlog now, and it's just like, yeah, when someone says something, it's like, oh, I would have addressed that, but I already have like the next month's of footage recorded, so like you're gonna see it just me mess it up completely and get that wrong because I only release part rush. And it's like I prefer a bit more of a live ability to like respond to viewers, like in that sense, like pick up viewer tips and all that stuff, like so it's like build a big backlog is not a great idea in that regard. So I was like, okay, right, maybe I go for streaming, right? Because like think about that, it's like if an hour is too short for me, maybe if I get like like a long session, like 4 or 5 hours in, you know, maybe even as low as 3 hours, maybe as high as 8 or 10 hours, then I'll be like, well, okay, that's great at that point because I'm like, well, you know, I'd play games that much anyway sometimes if I have like the free time to. But yeah, so at that point it's like, well, why not do the streaming? And then the answer to that was it's like because then it's like an over obligation, because like at that point it's like, well, I could like stream the same game every other day or every day, and it's like, well, then I thought, okay, would people really like want to stick with like series or that? It's like now I've thought like a lot about this, that, and the other, right? And then it basically ended up just me being like doing like 7 games at once, getting burnt out on like half of them, then feel a lot obligated to do like, and it's just like an absolute mess to like actually keep um everything together in that sense because it's like, well, yeah, now then I started all those games, so it's like, well, I can't just ditch the series halfway through it and pick it up later. It's like it became an absolute mess where I just like I bit way more than I can chew, as it were. Like that's like the phrasing as it goes, right? Bit off way more than I could chew. So basically, I had all these games that I was supposed to play and make parts of, and I just didn't, right? Because I was sort of like, well, how am I supposed to play 3 hours of Ark here and 4 hours of this there, and like it's just a mess, right? So like what I think a lot of the thing I'm getting at here, right, is what I'm going to need to do going forward is instead of focusing on this, that, or the other, I think I'm just going to have to do what I want to do, right, and not worry about all this artificial, superficial stuff here, right, where it's like, oh, well, because I mean, being real, I never really cared about views, likes, whatever anyway, right? I just did this because I thought I wanted to see if I could. I want to see like what uploading every day kind of did, right? And it's like it did relatively well, but is that because I started with Dave the Diver guides though? Because like that was the first thing that I really picked up my traction. And because it's like when I look at my analytics, it's always around Dave the Diver updates that people are spiking and return to my old videos. It's like not my new videos people are watching. It's always my old videos, like the old Dave the Diver guides, right? So it's like, well, what can I really do? Like, I'm trying to, like, it's like, I'll play a game and I see it gets, like, numbers, and I'm like, oh, that's exciting and all that, because, like, obviously you want to do well, right? Like, views and likes and all that. It's a metric of success, really. It's just like, yeah, okay. The more you have, the better off you are on a YouTube video, sort of thing. That's just how it is. That's just a numbers game. And it's like, well, yeah, it's just, my main point here is, like, since I don't really care about all that stuff, like, I just wanted to, like, see if uploading every day really did get you into the algorithm that well, and I'd say so. Like, I mean, I don't think I did too badly. Like, my channel's still, it's actually like, even though I gave it a couple month breaks, I've still gained subscribers over my couple month break. I still gained over this. Like, it's like, it's not like it's not like it's stagnating or anything. Like, well, kind of is, but not the point. Like, the point being, it's like, I'm indifferent to views is the best way to say it. Because like it's not like I'm gonna be like, I'm not gonna be overjoyed or over sad about having or not having them. Like, sure, if like a success behind it, that'd be nice, right? Yeah, probably sure at that point I'd be a bit more happy, right? Like, maybe it'd be like maybe I would feel differently if I was in that position, right? But I'm not, so whatever, right? It doesn't matter because not everyone makes that position. It's just how it is. Yeah, right. What was I saying? Yeah, basically, like, what I mean is, like, instead of worrying about views, likes, whatever, maybe even the algorithm itself, like uploading every day, I'm just gonna do what I want, right? Like, if I want to play a game and like stream it, I'll stream it, right? I'm not gonna even bother turning it into a VOD and putting it on the main thing and like hide. I'll just have it on my live section on YouTube. Like, you can go on my live tab. There is tons of stuff in there, probably. Or maybe there won't be, but maybe there will be. Who knows? Whatever, right? It's like, this ramble's gone on long enough. I was coherent at the beginning, kind of fell off. Random turtle fell off. You heard it here first, folks. But not the point. So I'm just kind of do what I want, like, and that might include like a bunch of different stuff that you haven't seen before, depending on how off the rails I decide to go on, like what I want to actually pursue in life, because that's the other thing I want to get to in the sense of like, it's like, to be honest, a lot of the reason why anyone does what anyone does is because they want to either like get to a better position, change things, well, really, actually, I would say the main driving force behind a lot of people or a lot of things, I would say, is like people just want to be happy. They want to do what makes them happy, right? Now, for me, I need to find what that is, right? I don't have like I need to find what makes me happy and what makes me happy to actually exist, right? And what I can actually do to feel like I can actually achieve that, right? So that might be like a case of like, yeah, maybe I'll go on LMMN, like LMMS. It's a free software, open source software. Maybe I'll make some music in that if I feel like I'm inclined to do so. Maybe I download Blender. Maybe I animate in that if I feel inclined to do so. Maybe I do something else. Maybe I, like, make art if I'm so inclined to do so. Like, that's the sort of thing. Like, there, it's like, I should really focus less on a niche or thing. I can just do what I want to do, and if I feel like I'm inclined to do something, do it, sort of thing. Like, if I feel like I feel like I have an idea. Like, I mean, yeah, I get that all these things I've just listed here. It's like, yeah, you're not going to easily be able to make music, right? So, say for example, even if I was in from my time messing around in LMMS, keyword messing around in, because as you can tell, like that shows just how little respect I have for any work I've actually done in it. It's like, yeah, like from what I've learned messing around in it, it's like, yeah, it's doable. Like you can physically do it. You can physically put the things in the correct place. You can physically select the correct things, but it's a lot harder than just the matter of doing it. There's a lot that goes into it, and that's why people who make music and musicians, that's why they are where they're at. Like, the good musicians are at where they're at because, well, okay, maybe not the good, but point being is like musicians who are serious about music, they will they'll have like a lot more going on in there when they have like a site like LMMS open than I will, for example, because I need to learn a lot of like stuff. Like, but they have all this music theory as well. If they've done music theory, if they haven't done music theory, they still might have like some other system like it's like where they're just naturally in tune with like music, like cause that's what talent is in that sense. Like maybe they have like just they can hear the beat in their head and they know how to get onto the screen easy. Like they can just even if they don't understand a lot about what goes on behind it, they're like, nah, this is what it needs, and it slaps, right? And it's like, oh, they're just that good. And like, some people just make it like that good. Like, they just discover their talent, and it's like their talent, they focus on it and work on it, and they just become like way better than anyone else, right? And it's just like, wow, that's like amazing, right? Um, and so it's a kind of thing like you need to practice that. And that's the thing I need to do. Right? I need to like what I mean is like I should explore other avenues when I can, if you know what I mean. Like, there are tons of things I'd like to do. Like, I'm a creative guy. Like, I have like I have ideas, I'd say that. Like, I have like like some of the earliest things I've done like I've done like a yeah, there's a lot of stuff in my life. Like I suppose it's best to talk about it now in a sense. Like yeah, like I had been working on like stuff on and off throughout my life in a sense like let's say for example like when I was on like a site called Congregate forum games, right? I was doing forum games back when I was like 13, maybe even younger, but well, ignore those parts because I won't really. But from through my like young teenage years, I was like a lot on like these forums, like they were playing forum games, and like a lot of like there was a lot of role plays and a lot of Mafia games. Right now, Mafia games were cool. I only got into them in later years when I was like more young adult style. But the role plays, I played as a kid, right? But like throughout them, I hosted a few of my own. Like I hosted quite a few of my own throughout time, and it's like over time, throughout all the stuff I've hosted, throughout all the stuff like I've designed, like I've literally designed like quite a lot of like this um fantasy creatures for the lack of a better word, right? So like in that sense, like, yeah, I got all that in there, but it's just a matter of getting that out there, right? And it's like, well, and yeah, this is the first time I mentioned it, but in like, unfortunately to say, like in the past, maybe decade, maybe a decade's a bit harsh, but like in the past, well, at least half a decade, I unfortunately can't say I haven't done anything towards that, and it's like, yeah, I really should, and it's like, I mean, yeah, 'cause this video's got a lot longer than I want it to be, but whatever, right? It's from the heart, as it were. Like, it's just me talking. Like, as I said, I should have scripted it, but it just didn't feel right to do. Like, you can't just like throw a bunch of your baggage out there and expect to script your baggage. It's just it ain't gonna happen like that. Like, it's gonna feel awkward trying to read it back. So like what you've written about yourself, it's better to just go, right? Um, yeah. So what I mean there is, it's like man, my nostrils we were I'm not point. What I mean there is, it's like I should try and do the things I want to do right more often, or like the things I claim I want to do more often. Like actually work towards what I want to do more often. Like because at the end of the day, it's sort of like if I'm unhappy where I am now, right? I'm unhappy where I'm at in life now, right? Why should I not be improving it? If you know what I mean? Like, if I'm unhappy in life, I should definitely be trying to improve it in any way, shape, or form. It's just like, just getting to the point where you're in a mental state where you can, like, do that sort of thing, where it's like, because it isn't easy. Life's never easy. Like, I'm sure everyone on their own ends have their own struggles. I have my own struggles. The viewer, you have your own struggles. It's just kind of what it is, right? And it's like, I mean, I wish it were. I wish a lot of people could have more carefree, struggle-free lives, but it just doesn't go like that. Things just crop up all the time, and the environment is pretty brutal. Like, living in an urban life, like modernized life, it's not easy. Like, modern society is definitely a tough one to navigate. I ain't gonna deny that. Like, as you can see, like, I'm definitely not a recipe for success here. Like, in fact, I'd say out of a lot of the people I look at, and a lot of people I knew my age, I'd say I failed quite hard. You know, a lot of people like, but then again, it's like, what do you call success and failure? Like, because if you define success as like living a normal life, that's great. And like, raising a family, that's great. Like, that's your success. You're successful, right? If you've done that. But if you don't find success as that, then what is it? Like, if like, if that's the thing about like, and that's why it goes back to like being happy, right? Where it's like, you need to find where you're happy and what you're happy doing. Like, because if you don't, you're basically resigned to a life of misery, which no one wants. Like, no one wants to live that, right? And it's like, well, it's a tough one, right? Like, because I'm just rambling to a camera here, like about like, well, this is where I've been, where I'm at. And as you can tell by what I'm saying, it's like, yeah, you can tell my mental state probably not the best, but it's also not the worst. Like, people have it definitely. Or people are probably feeling going through like things a lot more than me right now. Like, not handling them as well as I am at the moment. Like, and everyone has different stuff that goes through them. Everyone is affected differently by it. By this, that's what's unique about humans. Like, you're similar, but you're more the same than different. But you're more different than the same. I don't know. I feel like people are more similar than different, but everyone is definitely different. That's like that. I feel like it's a conclusion there. Like, we're more similar than different, but we're definitely different. Like, there are no two the same. Yet we all are similar in the sense like we all need water to survive. Like, that's an experience everyone can relate to. Drinking water. Like, who hasn't done that in their lives? But yeah, now, enough of the philosophical stuff and all that stuff. Like, didn't need to get this deep. It's a half-hour video now. It is what it is. But yeah, basically, what I mean going forward is that, yeah, I'm basically just gonna. This is a wild card channel now. Anything can happen. Like, I could like this could actually be the last video on my channel anyway. Like, You don't know. This could be like the last one. Could be something. Could be filled with like a bunch of streams after this. Could be filled with like streams, music, random Dave the Diver guides. Could be filled with like a bunch of lore from a BSRP that I'm making up or like whatever, because copyright protection is something that you automatically get. So um, if I, if as long as I get my work coherent enough, like and it, they know it comes from me, I can automatically just put out anything creative I want out there and go like, yes, cool, I have that, right? And it's like, I've made up this thing or I've made up that thing, and it's like, these are part of my work, and it's like, yeah, okay, cool, um, you know. And I guess the thing about that is like, my responsibility after that is like, if I do make something that's actually is good, it's just not be a dick about it. I know, right? Amazing, right? But that is a bridge I'll have to cross when I come to it, because like, again, if I could just make something decent, or like, make something I'm happy with, or live a life I'm happy with, that's like the main goal, right? Like, and it's about getting there. That's the real problem. But yeah, I think I've said all I can say for this video in that sense. Like, this has been a channel update, but also I guess it has been quite an insight into who the hell I actually am. I mean, yeah, I still don't really know you all, and you still don't really know me, but maybe you have a bit more of an understanding of me in general. I don't know, but point being is, yeah, life is how it is, and yeah, I mean, I guess this is my official announcement to my return to YouTube, I guess. Yeah, will I be uploading every day? Probably not, but who knows? Again, as I said earlier in the video and throughout the video, it's just like, I'm just gonna take this and do what I want with it, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Whatever. I'll figure out a way. I'm resourceful. We all are. We're all humans. We're all resourceful. I believe that. I believe that 100%. Like, if you're, as long as you're alive, as long as you got your brain, you can think of something, and you can pretty much do a lot of what. I mean, there might be special cases where it's like, yeah, you might be have a physical disability that prevents certain things, or like, uh, lifelong disease that also prevents a lot of things. But at the same time, it's like, those are restrictions placed on you, and that makes you a lot tougher for having to deal with those restrictions and still get on. But if you, although things are more limited, and maybe you can still find happiness. Like, there are people who are generally rather happy in that sense. So it's like, you know, people can do anything, and even if the things that they can do are limited, they can still do anything. They can still do a lot. Like, that's what I mean. Like, you can still pretty much aim for what it. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this, but like, yeah, you can. As a human, I can figure it out. I'm sure you can figure it out. Um, it's. I guess it's a case of like, yeah, as cheesy as it sounds, you just got to believe in yourself and believe that you really are as capable and resourceful as like a human that you think you are. Like, I believe everyone is. Like, I believe, like, the reason humans have come so far is literally because we're that resourceful. Like, we know how to like manipulate our surroundings to such a degree that yeah, like, yeah, it's literally like, I mean, you see like my background. I'm inside a house that was artificially built. Like, us around, like, we built an entirely new environment in that sense. Like, the town and city environment is kind of a weird one. Like, that doesn't occur in nature. Not the point. Like, point being is like, yeah, like, I'm gonna try getting things to do things. I'm gonna try doing things the way I want to, because it's just the way I see it, and I'm gonna try making it work. And that's basically all I have to say about it. Like, I've listed some of my plans throughout the video. I talked about my back history of the channel, why I came through it, and where I am now. Yeah, that's basically it. So yeah, with that, I hope you all have a good day. and I hope to see you all in the future. Have a good one.